Good afternoon. Welcome to today's science lesson. Okay, so your topic, as you know, is stargazers. So your skill today is to describe the planets, the moon, and the sun. So if you could please write today's date, which is Tuesday, the 12th of January, and your skill, and underline it neatly, and then come back when you're ready to move on. Okay. So first things first then, talk to your partner. What is the solar system? Have you heard of the solar system? Do you know what it is? Okay, have a talk to your partner. They might not know, you might have all the information about it. Pause the video, then come back when you're ready. Okay, so the solar system is the collection of planets and their moons, together with smaller bodies such as asteroids, meteoroids and comets, which orbit around the sun. Okay, so it's not just one planet or one moon, it's a whole collection. And you can see here in this image, this is a solar system, okay? It's got the sun and planets and comets. Okay. So, thinking about the planets then, have a quick talk to your partner again. How many planets are there? Can you name them all? Okay, tell each other. You might want to tell your partner one planet, they might tell you one. If you're at home, you might want to jot them down. Or of course, you can use the Discord chat if you want to discuss that with somebody at school, if there's nobody around to help you at the moment. Okay, so how many planets are there? Can you name them all? Again, pause the video and come back when you're ready. So hopefully you would have said there are 8 planets. Okay, you've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Now if you said Pluto, I understand why you said it. However, Pluto is no longer a planet. Okay, it's a dwarf planet. Back in 2006 it was reclassified as a dwarf planet because it didn't meet the certain criteria that it needed to be an official planet. Okay, so if anyone ever tries telling you Pluto is a planet, it's not. Sorry about the astronaut's foot there, it's covering the word dwarf, but it does say dwarf. Okay, so your task today is going to be to make some top trump cards to demonstrate your knowledge and understanding of the 8 planets, the moon and the sun. Okay, and you can see here on my solar system picture, there are just the 8 planets and Pluto is not on there. So first of all, you need to learn and make some notes. Okay, so you need to draw 8 circles to represent the planets in your books and label them. And you also need to draw one for the moon. Okay, the one for the sun I've demonstrated for you, okay, because that's quite tricky to get as many facts, funnily enough. Okay, so that's going to be your example one. So you just need to draw 8 circles for the planets and then one for the moon. Okay, so it's going to look like this. So pause the video once you've drawn your 9 circles. Don't worry about them being in size order or to represent the sizes of the actual planets. You don't need to do that, it's just for making your notes. So when you're listening and watching a video, you can write any notes you hear about each of the planets in their corresponding circle. Then when you come to make your top trump notes, you can just go straight to the circle and all your notes will be in one place. Okay, so make sure they're drawn neatly. You probably want about 4 on a whole A4 page because you need enough room to make your notes. Okay, so don't do 4 tiny ones or 8 tiny ones like this because you'll fit 2 words in it. Okay, so think carefully and use your common sense to how big you need your circles. Okay, so our first visit then is going to be about the solar system. So we're going to click on the Earth and it's going to tell us some facts about the solar system. So make sure you're ready, your pens are poised. Okay, so what is the solar system? Hopefully this is going to work.
Serious scientists, like myself, believe our solar system was formed by the collapse of a giant cloud of gas and rock, and is held together by the gravitational pull of the Sun. 8 planets orbit the Sun. The closest are the 4 rocky planets. The remaining gas planets inhabit deeper space. The solar system is also home to many other cosmic bodies, including asteroids, moons, and dwarf planets such as Pluto. What's this? Oh, no!
You should know where all the planets are. They orbit the Sun, which is actually a star. Mercury and Venus are first in line. Earth used to have dinosaurs, now it's our time. Mars is next, and rocky and red. Jupiter made of gas, not somewhere you can tread. Saturn's got rings and is gas too. Uranus and Neptune are cold and blue. You should know where all the planets are. They orbit the Sun, which is actually a star. You should know where all the planets are. They orbit the Sun, which is actually a star.
Okay, if you want to, you can include notes about the Sun. Okay, I did say there is an example for you of a top trump card, but it's probably helpful to make your notes anyway. Okay, so we have already learned so far in that really short video clip, we've learned some really interesting facts. Now hopefully you've got the same facts written down as I got. Okay, so the Sun is actually a star. Did you know that? The Earth is one of 8 planets that travel around the Sun. Now we definitely knew that. The planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. And then the solar system also home to lots of asteroids, moons and dwarf planets such as Pluto. Okay, so there's some facts there that you could have written down. There was also some facts about the rocky planets and the gas planets. Now we're going to have a further look at those now. So at any time, just pause the video, take your time, okay? I'm obviously not writing these down, so I don't need as much time as you, but feel free to rewind the video and watch it as many times as you like, especially if you want that song in your head all day. Okay, before we move on, what shape is the Sun, the Moon and the planets? What shape are they? Okay, have a think, have a talk. There's one particular word that you should really be saying, and it's not round. Okay, because it is round, but what's the shape? And it's not a circle, because circles are 2D. So what is a 3D circle called? Hopefully you're saying it's a sphere. Okay, so the planets, the Sun and the Moon are all spherical, so they're all sphere shape. Okay, so you could definitely be writing that down in every single one of your circles. Okay, so the one for the Sun if you've drawn one, but definitely the Moon and the planets need to have spherical or sphere shape written in them, because that's an important one which you could use for your top trump cards. Okay, next is the Sun. If the Sun is a star, what is the Moon? Do you know what the Moon is yet? We'll come back to that question because there's a video later on about the Moon which might be able to help you. Okay, so keep that question in mind. So let's find out more about the rocky planets or the terrestrial planets. Okay, let's click Mercury to find out more. This is Mercury.
As the solar system grew, 4 rocky planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, were created closest to the Sun. Made of rocks and metals, they have solid surfaces and a central core of mainly iron. Small in comparison to the gas planets found further from the Sun, they also rotate at a more sedate pace and have few moons. No, it can't be.
Spinning round, close to the Sun. Therefore, 4 rocky planets. Mercury is the nearest one. Venus Venus, Earth, and Mars, they come next. They're the rocky planets, the ones nearest the sun. Some have moons, but not that many. They're the rocky planets, the ones nearest the sun. They may be small, but they have metal at their core. Rocky planets.
Okay, so that was your video about the rocky planets. I hope you liked the song there. Okay, so that's all about the terrestrial planets. So let's see what notes you've got written down. So did you get that the 4 rocky planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars? So they're the 4 closest planets to the Sun. Which one was first? It was Mercury. Okay, so they're made of rocks and metals. Okay, they've got a really solid surface and a core which is mainly made from iron. They are much smaller than the gas planets and rotate more slowly. Okay, so once you've got those facts or your own facts, these are just the ones I've got from the video. Okay, if you've got different facts, then fantastic. Okay, and then we can move on and find out more about the Jovian planets, the gaseous planets. Okay, so we're going to click on Jupiter here. And Jupiter's going to take us to find out more about the gas planets.
Further from the sun, in the outer reaches of the solar system, we find the gas planets. Much larger than the rocky planets, these cosmic giants are accompanied by numerous moons. Jupiter, famous for its red spot, is the largest, followed by Saturn with its rings made of ice, rock and dust. Uranus and Neptune come next. Whilst unmanned spacecraft have approached the gas planets, actual landings are not possible because of the lack of solid surfaces. What's this?
Don't land on them now. They're not very stable. They're gaseous balls. Don't land on them now. They're hydrogen and helium. They've no surface at all. They're not very stable. They're not like a table. In fact, they've got no surface at all. No surface at all.
Sorry for the crazy videos. They do make me laugh. Okay, so did you notice that the gaseous planets, she said that nobody can land on them, okay, because they've got no surface. Okay, so even more facts that we can add to our lists. So the gas planets are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. They are the furthest planets away from the Sun. So you had the rocky planets, which were Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. They were the closest 4. And then you've got Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. They each have many moons. Okay, so Earth has got 1 moon. And then Mars has 2 moons. These all have more moons than that. Okay, they are much bigger than the rocky planets too. And they're balls of hydrogen and helium, which are gases, which means you can't stand on the surface. Make sure you're really taking your notes in good detail, because if you just put moon, you might not know how many moons. Okay, or you might just put gas. It's good to put hydrogen or helium because you might need to use those for your top trump cards depending on the facts that you choose to include. Okay, so really try to include as many as you can, and of course go back to the videos, watch them as many times as you need to. Okay. Okay, look at the facts that you have got written down already. What other information do you need to complete your top trump card? So have you got the names of the planets written down? Hopefully you have got them on your notes with the circles. Have you got the size? So some of them, you won't have all of these notes yet, okay? But I have included a planet resource sheet for you at the end, and also facts about the moon, okay, to help you. So you could include the shape for all. So you've definitely got the name, and you've definitely got the shape of all the planets and the moon. the length of a year. So how long does it take to orbit the sun? The position from the sun, okay, you might want to put, so obviously for the planets, you might want to put that Mercury is the closest, and Venus is the second closest. You could put that Neptune is the furthest away, so you could put the positions on there. The distance, so that's going to be in kilometres. The average temperature and the classification. So the classification you can already use as well. So you can say whether it's a rocky planet or a Jovian planet, so a gassy planet. Okay, let's continue with our space mission to find out more information. Okay, this video has got so much information on, but it does go quite quickly, so you might want to keep pausing it. But it's, as I say, got lots of facts, so watch and listen carefully.
Three, two, 1, 0, and liftoff.
The sun and the moon and the stars, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, not to mention all of their moons.
8 planets, 1 sun, this is the way our solar system runs. 8 planets, 1 sun, this is the way our solar system runs.
Mercury, the first planet, the smallest one, also the planet closest to the sun. Twice a year you can see it in the sky, no telescope needed, just use your eye. It's made out of rocks and metal, you see, just chilling on its axis terrestrially. It orbits the sun in 87 Earth days. This means a shorter time between birthdays.
Mission Control, we're approaching Venus right now.
Venus, the second planet from the sun, believe it or not, it's the hottest one. 800 degrees is the average temp. It's called the morning star. Sometimes you get a glimpse of it shining brightly in our atmosphere. One day on Venus is longer than its year. That sounds strange, but the fact is, it's rotating very slowly on its axis.
The sun and the moon and the stars, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, not to mention all of their moons.
Earth, the third planet from the sun, the only one that we found life on, like people, animals, plants, birds, and fish. Without Earth's water, life wouldn't exist. Earth has one moon that lights up the night sky. Its gravitational pull causes tides to rise. Earth is the planet with the most water, and its yearly orbit, 365 and a quarter.
Mission Control, we're approaching Mars right now.
Mars, the fourth planet from the sun, is the red planet, the last terrestrial one. Its gravitational pull is much lighter. If you were there, you could jump 3 times higher. And just like Earth, Mars has seasons. Its axis is tilted, that's the main reason. To orbit the sun, it takes Mars 2 years. Its deserts actually have ice, that's kind of weird.
Inside the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system gives you so many things to see.
Jupiter, from the sun, the fifth planet, the first gas giant. Man, it's gigantic. It's the largest planet in our solar system. You can fit over 300 planet Earths in it. It has a great red spot from stormy skies discovered by astronomers in 1665. With over 60 moons in short days, Jupiter is different in a lot of ways.
Mission Control, we're approaching Saturn. Wow, look at those rings.
Saturn, the sixth planet from the sun, is the second gas giant, the cool-looking one with the rings around it, made of dust and ice, and they're huge, over 8,000 miles wide. It has the fastest winds of all the planets, 150 moons, and even smaller moons. It takes 29 years to round the sun, and Saturn's rings make it a truly unique one.
The sun and the moon and the stars, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, not to mention all of their moons.
Uranus, the seventh planet from the sun, the opposite of Venus, is the coldest one. Its axis is the most unique thing of all. It makes Uranus rotate like a bowling ball. It's the lightest of the gas giants. It takes 84 Earth years just to make its orbit. Some people say its name a different way, but we'll stick with Uranus if that's okay.
Mission Control, we're approaching Neptune. Man, it's cold out here.
Neptune, 8th planet from the sun, a bright blue planet, also an icy one. For centuries, people didn't know that it existed. It's not that big, so we can see how they missed it. It's the smallest of the 4 gas giants with quite a bit of mass and a very active climate. It's a big ball of hydrogen and helium sitting at the very far end of the solar system.
Inside the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system gives you so many things to see.
Last but not least, let's talk about the sun as the star at the center of our solar system, responsible for all of Earth's weather and climate so big that 1 million Earths could fit inside it. It's a huge burning ball of gases. Don't even try to look at it without protective glasses. It supplies the Earth with heat and light. The sun keeps the seasons of the Earth working right.
The sun and the moon and the stars. Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Not to mention all of their moons.
Solar system. Solar system.
Okay, so that was a really informative video, and as I said, it does go quite quickly, so you might want to keep rewinding that one, but you've definitely got so much more information. Okay, so you've got the distance from the sun, you've got some of the lengths of a year. Okay, also, could you include a fun fact about each one? So you can say that Venus is the hottest planet, even though it's not the closest to the sun. Okay, so Mercury was the closest, but Venus is the hottest, which is really strange. Okay, you could also say which planet is the coldest. One of the planets had a nickname of, I think it was the morning light or the morning view, I can't remember what it said now. So you could write about that. You need to go back and find that out. There's lots of fun facts about the planets which you could be including perhaps at the bottom. So perhaps under here you want to include a fun fact. So this is the one for the sun that I've just made quickly just to show you the idea. Okay, so you've got the average temperature, the shape, distance from the sun, obviously it is the sun, the size, so the diameter. So the diameter is when we go from one side all the way around to the other. Okay, so not the whole way around because that's the circumference, so just across. The rotation time, so how long it takes to rotate, and then the number of moons. Okay, so just before we go on to the moons, let's just see if we can find some more facts about, let's just see if more facts about the moon before we go on to making our top trump cards. Okay, so this time you need your circle about the moon ready.
Over 150 moons orbit the solar system's planets, and one of those moons calls Earth home. The moon was formed about 4.5 billion years ago when, according to one theory, the Earth slammed into another early planet. Debris from this collision began to orbit Earth and accumulated, forming today's moon. The moon is the 5th largest natural satellite in the solar system, with a diameter just under the width of China. It's composed of an iron-rich core, plus a mantle and crust containing minerals made of magnesium, oxygen, and silicon. The moon's surface was once geologically active and covered in an ocean of magma. But today, apart from traces of water ice, the surface is completely covered in dust and rocky debris. Countless craters dot the moon's surface, each formed by objects such as meteoroids, comets, and asteroids crashing onto the moon. The largest crater, the South Pole Aitken Basin, spans across a quarter of the moon's surface and is nearly deep enough to fit Mount Everest inside. The moon orbits our planet at an average distance of 30 Earths. It rotates at the same rate that it revolves. So as it revolves around our planet, the same side of the moon faces the Earth at all times. From the Earth's surface, we can observe 8 distinct traditionally recognized stages of the moon's illumination. Called lunar phases, they have been observed for thousands of years and even provided the basis for the earliest calendars. For most of human history, the moon could only be studied from afar. But on July 20th, 1969, humans were able to close that distance with the American spaceflight mission Apollo 11.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It placed humans on the moon for the very first time, bringing our understanding of Earth's only natural satellite one step closer.
Okay, so you've got the facts about the moon there. Okay, so it told us why the crater's there. So see if you can remember things like that. What caused the craters on the moon? Okay, again, you can go back and watch the video as many times as you like, and I have also included a fact sheet for you just to help you. So somebody could print that, or you can view it on the screen. That's great. Okay, so you're ready to start making your top trump cards. Now, I don't mind how you do this. You can cut out individual cards, or you can just draw the top trump cards in your books. It's completely up to you. I would love you to draw a picture of the planet. So look really carefully. What colours would you use? Okay, I'm sure you'll be using a different colour for Neptune than you would Mercury. Think about why that would be. Okay. Also in that video, we're going to go back to our question that I asked towards the beginning. So if the sun is a star, what is the moon? Now, it did tell you this in the video. Okay, so have a talk to somebody around you and see if you can remember what it said the moon was. And hopefully you'd be saying it's a natural satellite. Okay, it's a natural satellite which orbits the Earth. So hopefully you remembered that, so you could also write that down on your moon top trump card. Okay, once you've made those, come back to us and see if you can answer these questions based on the information that you've gathered. So you might have made your top trump cards, but you may have chosen not to include this particular information on these cards. Okay, but definitely try to include them. Okay, and if you've got the notes just written in your book, see if you can answer these questions. So what is the Earth's atmosphere made mostly of? Which planets are made of gas? Which planet has the highest maximum temperature? And which planet orbits closest to the sun? Okay, I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. Have fun making your top trump cards. Okay, and I can't wait to question you all about your knowledge about the solar system, the planets, the Earth and the sun. Okay, I will see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.